Okay, hot topic, posture. Now, a lot of us make efforts towards better posture, but we don't really look deeper into what we're actually doing and if it's actually helping us. And many times we will repeat over and over the same adjustments and not be able to stay there. So usually that's a really big red flag that if you're making efforts towards something and every time you stop thinking about it that you've gone back to where you were, that you're actually not making a change in the better, right? So when we think about posture, we're always trying to think of alignment, but when we're actually probed as to describe exactly what we're trying to accomplish, many of us can't really define it. Now, when it comes to sitting at our desks and now with all the extra time that we're spending at the desk, many of us are going to feel tension, right? So then we're trying to change that tension by actually creating more tension. So what I want you to do is make whatever adjustment that you make towards a better sitting posture. And I want you just to make those efforts right now. Now, everybody's going to do something a little bit different, but what I want you to do is go into where you think is a better posture or an area or an adjustment that you tend to make on a regular basis to improve that posture. And we're going to do a little test. Okay, so now once you're there, I want you just to note of whether that feels good, whether it feels relaxed, whether you feel stressed somewhere, and then take note of what your breath is. So when you so put yourself in that position, and I want you to take a deep breath. And then what I want you to notice is where does that breath go? Okay, is it high? Does it tend to be more belly? Do you feel it in your shoulders? Okay, and then can you actually take a deep breath and hold that, right? There's a number of things that can happen when we make these postural adjustments, and these are just things to think about. So number one, are you doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result? Number two, can you actually breathe in this position that you're putting yourself there, because your diaphragm is a huge stabilizing muscle. And then now another thing I want you to think about is now in that adjusted posture where you think you should be or the efforts that you make is I want you to push both your feet down into the floor. Now, number one, can you push your feet straight down into the floor? And I mean not your toes, not your heels, but your entire foot. Okay, and then what would happen if you go to push one foot forward and pull the other one back? Okay, and then what would it look like if you did the opposite? So you push the other one forward and the other one back. Now in all of these efforts, you're not moving your feet on the ground. It's just creating work through your legs. And now what would happen if you go to spin your toes out? Okay, can you with your entire foot in contact? And then you're going to try to spin your heels out. Okay, now if you can apply all of these efforts with your legs and your pelvis does not move, that's an indication that you're connecting to your core. If you struggle with even trying to push down and what you want to do is, okay, how do I do that? I'm going to move here. Do I bring my feet underneath? Then the problem is your efforts are not connecting you to a more stable position, which is a more ideal posture. Now, I want you to really think about the efforts that you're making in your posture and where else in your life that you're applying it. So whether you apply that in fitness or in life or at work, sitting at your desk or in your car, and then really think, is this actually changing anything?